Hey Virgo, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. Take what works, sleep what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch your wavelength or storyline from this reading, you can go check your other major placements. Or even if I do, you can check your other major placements if you want. All right. Oh my goodness. All right, Virgo. We're starting with the Oracle decks for a more intuitive vibe of where we're going, and then we're going to move on to the Tarot Mystical Moments for a more traditional tarot spread. All right. All right, we probably got something here. All right. So we have break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. So breaking some sort of pattern of the way you usually do things, moving forward. I would almost want to see like a North Node, South Node reference to this. Breaking some sort of pattern or some sort of chain. And it has to do with healing. It has to do with maybe the ways that we learned to behave or learn to interact with people. Some sort of old habit, an old way of dealing with life. We're healing that, and we're changing the ending to something. We're changing how the story ends. It doesn't have to end the way it ended for our grandparents or our parents or anything like that. We can change that. We can change the future, of course. So breaking some sort of chain, some sort of habitual pattern. Maybe you didn't even notice it until recently, because those habits, I mean, they're habits, right? It's a lot of times, unless we put a lot of effort into developing them, they go unnoticed. We don't even realize we're doing it. So yeah, healing ancestral patterns and rewriting the future. You change your outlook, change your behavior, you're going to change the outcome. We also have bring love into the situation, new moon in Aquarius. So Aquarius is our water bringer. It's an air sign, which references sort of generally communication and love. This can also, it's the water bringing, water being emotion, being something that flows through us, being a liquid, something with a lot of flow to it. So expressing your true emotions, your real emotions. You don't really know. You have to do it in faith with this new moon here. You have to do it not really knowing what the outcome's going to be, not really knowing where it's going. You just have to kind of express, bring it into the situation, and then see what happens from there. That you might have suppressed some emotions. You might have not expressed emotions, or just thought like, in this situation, we don't express our feelings. And that's something that you learned, or something that made sense to you when you were 12 and figuring out the world, but is actually like not been quite a very useful trait here. So bringing love into the situation. There could be something sort of unconventional about how you're speaking your truth. It is, I see with this new moon here, there's some sort of independence from the outcome, from okay, I don't know where this is going, but I have to speak my truth. I have to say what's true for me, what's right for me. I have to speak my feelings. I have to engage with them in an honest way and bring them forward. And then we have your dreams need a practical plan, full moon in Taurus. So this is like the dreaming part is over. It's time to start applying, right? Because we have a fullness here. Something's come to fullness, and it was the dreaming part, the visioning part. And now we need to really think this through. How is this going to work out? What are the nuts and bolts of this? So getting a practical plan together for something that you want. You need to say what you want, perhaps being silent about what you want, not speaking up, not saying what you truly want has been a problem for you in the past. But now we're saying what we want, and you need to think about either how you're going to say that or how you're going to achieve what you want. That we've got to honestly say what we want, and then we've got to understand how that's going to, the ripple effects in into our reality, and how that's going to affect things, and what we need to, the structures we need to sort of put in place for this, or how to go about achieving this dream this thing that we're expressing finally. So getting organized, this is also a warning against a get rich quick scheme. Don't try to go too fast. Don't try to jump ahead. Don't skip steps. Don't cut corners in this. Actually come up with a viable plan. One a bank would be happy to support, right? Like something very solid, something that feels very secure. And even if, we all understand that no one can predict the future, and you're definitely being asked to go into a situation expressing yourself a little bit blind about how that's going to affect things, and what the response is going to be. But we're doing our best to, make the proposal to, say, the bank or to some other, buttoned up entity that is supposed to be careful with things and investments. So if you're asking someone to invest in something, you want to make sure you're giving a really thorough proposal, a complete proposal that, even though we can't predict the future, at least like makes it look like you've come up with some contingency plans, and you've planned for the unplanned at least a little bit, and that you're responsible, and you're able to handle this dream and make things happen. So your dreams need a practical plan, not cutting corners. Make sure it at least looks on paper as viable. I mean, we can't control things, we can't predict things, no one's asking for that, but they are asking for some sort of forethought to have gone into something, some sort of understanding of how to make something happen and how to bring it into reality. What are the nuts and bolts? What are the details that we need to be available here, or that we need to have at least thought through and understood the variables and the possibilities and the ramifications? So you're bringing in some sort of really honest communication, and you're bringing it. You're not, it's not necessarily, I mean, it could be a response to something, a response to a question, but you're supposed to be honest about your feelings, even though it feels like you're just like, what's going to happen with that? It is a different pattern. It's something different than what you've done before. It's a little bit different, and then coming up with a plan, or having a plan for making your dream a reality. This the planning stage, or planning things can be very powerful, right? We still need to be open to the unplanned, and open to things happening that are outside of our control, and open to all of that. But it's just the process of creating a plan can be very empowering, just for you, just to know that okay, well, this is outside the plan, but we did enough research and we did enough planning that we understood that something like this could happen, and we do have at least some sort of idea. You don't have to have all the answers, but just some sort of idea. Past, present, inner landscape. What's at issue? Environment, to-do list, possible outcome. The to-do list has me befuddled. Well, we'll get there when we get there. Okay. In your recent past, and I've seen some common things from both personal readings and these generals, some common cards, and I really appreciate seeing those. It's like energies that are kind of floating around right now, but they affect everyone differently. They come up in different placements, but sometimes these cards, I like how, they kind of, I don't know, dovetail with each other a little bit, with some overlap. Makes me feel like we're all part of one universe and one whole. So I like that. Oh, in your recent past, you have the Emperor. You have there's this big boss energy. This is the Emperor always brings up questions of who's in charge, who's in control, who has a right to call the shots, who has a right to say how things are going to go, who has the right to delegate. This Emperor has institutional backing. So there's some sort of institution here that's saying, yeah, this person has the right, this person has the say. This is big boss energy. This can be someone who has a right to delegate tasks to others. But there's always a bit of control question, and this one seems to have the backing, seems to have the ability to control the situation, the divine right to rule. But the Emperor does typically, for me, bring up at least a question. I'm wondering who does have this role, and who bequeathed it to who, and by what right does this person get to say what happens, and gets to control what happens, and gets to tell other people what to do, and gets to direct things. So questions about who's in charge, who has a say, who has a right to have a say here, who's the underling, and who's the power questions, power dynamics. In your current situation, we're dealing with justice here. This could be dealing with the justice system, or this can also be dealing with the effects and ramifications of how we've gone about doing things. So it's not just was your goal achieved, but there's a sense of ethics here, questions of ethics of how did you go about achieving that goal. There could be some truth coming in. I love the sword here. We've got justice is our Libra card here. I don't usually talk about the signs, but it's coming in pretty clearly here, and it's reminding me of this card as far as bringing in some truth, and bringing in some balance or some sort of karmic justice coming in. And we say that, and we often mean it, when someone, cut us off in traffic, or was just absorbed in what they were doing and weren't thinking about us and trying to offend. So, some karmic justice, but there's also a sense of karmic justice of, have you put a lot of good out into the world? Maybe it's coming back to you. It's like, who else was I just discussing this with? But it's like so maybe some situations we're not able to reciprocate. We're not able to reciprocate someone else's goodness to us, or someone else isn't in a position to reciprocate to us. But we've sort of got like, the world could be one, if we let it, the world could be one giant massage circle. So yeah, so it's not actually possible for the person that you're blessing and bequeathing your gentleness to reciprocate, but someone else could come around the circle and give you something that you're not able to reciprocate to them. So there's a sense of there can be some really great karma here too, depending on how you've done something. So truth being coming out, karmic debts being paid. We often think that people that cheat and lie are winning, but there's a real karmic debt behind that. And part of that, in my opinion, is a separation from themselves, fraying of their own integrity. To me, that does not sound like a wonderful way to live. So even if you technically have all the bells and whistles of having won, there's a separation here and a division in here that it doesn't seem worthwhile to me. Anyway, that's just how I operate. I think a lot of people do, though. I can't be alone in that, right? So there's some sort of justice here, some sort of truth coming out, scales being balanced, depending on something that's gone on before. So something some sort of justice coming through here. What's deserved, what's earned, what's owed, being paid. And your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, we have Ace of Wands. You're hoping for some sort of inspired beginning, some sort of growth, some sort of beginning. You're hoping for an inspired beginning, a beginning that's in the flow of life, a beginning that's intuition. You're hoping for an intuitive hit on something. You're looking for it. You're wondering where it is. You're something unexpected, something new coming in, and really sparking your creativity or your curiosity. Really a spark here. We're looking for some kind of spark, some sort of inspired, intuitive thing coming in and beginning a whole journey, beginning that strike of lightning, basically, of some sort of inspiration or something exciting coming in and starting an inspired journey. So you're really looking for that spark of inspiration here, or intuition to come in and spring forth from the mundane. In what's at issue here is Page of Cups. And this Ace of Wands can be like a beginning of a life, beginning of a new life, beginning of a new life path, some sort of beginning of the energy. I think of Wands as sort of that cosmic energy that flows through us and connects us and flows through everything. And you're looking for that to enter into a situation, that cosmic flow to begin and to feel it. It almost feels like you want to feel something. You want to feel alive. You want to feel that life, something come to life here, and a journey begin, some sort of creative journey or something like that. You want it to come to life. I'm seeing the electricity and Frankenstein's monster and bringing something to life. Page of Cups reverse. So Page is learning. There might be some lack of emotional curiosity. a sense of feeling drained, of feeling depleted, emotionally depleted, which would be why you're looking for this Ace of Wands, this spark. And this sense of being, there's someone here could have a lack of curiosity about their own feelings, about what this all means. There could be turning away from new feelings, from new sensations. Not able to look at them, not able to approach with curiosity. This could be a person. This could be a person that you know, or this could be you, or this could be the situation. But being it's a court card, it does seem like a person. So this person lacks some curiosity and or emotional openness, being emotionally open to something, or being in denial of something that they feel. Their feelings, they're denying their feelings, what they truly feel, because maybe what they truly feel would be surprising and shocking and difficult. So somebody here is sort of in some kind of denial about their true feelings, unable to look at them, unable to see a truth in front of them, an unwillingness to learn and explore, a lack of curiosity about feelings and about emotions, or some sort of blockage. This could be causing a sense of feeling drained, though, and a sense of depression, because when we block those emotions, we block all of them. So someone's emotionally blocked here and not able to handle. You know, our emotions are bringing us all sorts of new information all of the time. I like to think of them more as just another sense. And just like feeling, touch, sight, bringing us information. Someone's closed off to that information, to some sort of emotional information that's coming in. They don't want to see it. And in your environment, we have Two of Wands. So this is, you want this Ace of Wands, right, to come in and bring you inspiration. This Two of Wands is very practical work. It's actually reminding me of this full moon in Taurus, needing a practical plan. Something in your environment needs practical work. Okay, so we want to go to the moon. All right. How do we do that? What are the first steps? So it's kind of, there's been some sort of inspiration here. Something is wanted, something's desired, but we're not sure how to do it and how to accomplish it. And there's a lot of thinking, possibly overthinking, but there could be something in your environment that's causing you to, that's causing practical issues and logistics. And logistics have to be sorted out and explored. Like there's something that you want, there's something that is you're trying to accomplish. There's just a lot of logistics involved in the whole situation. And it threatens to take you out of the inspired moment, out of the inspiration, right? We're seeing drained here and we're seeing lack of inspiration. It could just be because the logistics are a little bit too much right now, that they're maybe making it feel like maybe it's not worthwhile with this amount of logistics and trying to accomplish this. Maybe this dream, this vision isn't worthwhile because this is too much logistical thinking and it's pulled you out of the original inspiration. Your to-do list, Five of Pentacles here. So this is really fascinating. This is the energy you need to be interacting with and exploring. Five of Pentacles is poverty, not having enough, feeling left out, feeling abandoned, feeling out in the cold, feeling cut off. Well, this is this too, right? Maybe this is you. Cut off from some sort of emotions, cut off from some feelings that you don't want to look at, that are uncomfortable. This Five of Pentacles can be left out, feeling cut off. Maybe you need to share with someone that you do feel this way, that you do feel left out, that you do feel cut off, that you do feel abandoned. There's a sense of abandonment here. And so dealing with those feelings, dealing with those emotions, looking at them, where are they coming from? Exactly, where did they come from? Because sometimes those feelings can get triggered by other things where, if we had an early abandonment, other people may feel like abandonment from them, but it's like a burn. If you have a burn, you can put the ice pack on the burn and it feels really good, but just because the ice pack gets removed doesn't mean you're getting burnt. It's just there was some relief there. That relief has to go someplace else for a while. So you're not being reburned. You're just being aware of an original wound, of being left out, of being abandoned, of not having enough, of not having what you need. of feeling a sense of lack and feeling a sense of need and want. So your job, your to-do list is to really look at that. I mean, I see this Justice card. She's just looking down at that, trying to be fair about it. And see it very clearly, trying to see it clearly, trying to cut through the fog and cut through the confusion and see this issue very clearly, the sense of feeling like an outsider, feeling left out in the cold and abandoned, looking into that very clearly. And maybe this is the chain you need to break. Maybe you have, you know, a family history of, oh, we're always the outsiders. Oh, we're abandoned. Oh, we're poor all of the time. No matter how much money we have, we're always poor. And maybe this is part of that chain, that habitual thinking that you need to break through. And that's why the Justice comes in here with this sword to cut through the fog and the bullshit and the cut this chain, right? We're breaking this chain, and I see this sword coming in and sort of smashing the chain and breaking the chain for you. But there is something here where you need to deal with some sort of issue of poverty, abandonment. Maybe you just, maybe it's very literal. Maybe you need to just deal with how much money do you have and how much money don't you have? A very practical issue. You've got a lot of practical issues here already. So maybe this is a practical issue of budgeting and figuring out what you can afford and what you actually can't afford, and being honest with yourself about that too. Being clear about that, what you can afford and what you can't afford. But there's also just a sense of abandonment too here that can, some of you are going to be needing to look into and examine, right? What's the burn and what burned you and what's just the ice, not an ice pack, but isn't necessarily they're hurting you actively. And then your possible outcome here is Wheel of Fortune. Your fortune's changing. There's something about you dealing with this sense of lack, this sense of poverty, abandonment, expulsion, and this sense of being left out, dumped, mercilessly dumped, or left out in the cold here. You have to look at that and look at it truthfully and honestly and really deal with that. And maybe there's some practical application for that. And then we have a Wheel of Fortune. Your fortunes are going to change, luck changing. Sometimes I like to see this as like some sort of Rube Goldberg machine, right? And like we do something up here behind the curtain, all of this stuff happens, and then out shoots like a bowling ball out, and we're like, but I put in a P, how did I get a bowling ball out here? So there's something going on behind the scenes. You may have started something in motion, you may have affected something, but you don't really understand all of the inner workings, so it might feel like luck or something very random, but it's not. It's something that you started. It's something that I don't know that you have a say in what comes out, but you did have a say in starting the whole machinery here, I think. That's what I'm getting. I love how her heart is part of this whole situation of luck turning. Wheel of Fortune, it turns. Your luck is changing. Your luck is going to change, but there is something you have to deal with regarding abandonment or poverty issues or lack mentality. Okay, so Virgo, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your likes, comments, subscribes. I really appreciate them, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.